Let's talk about Pittsburgh. All right. So the Pittsburgh Panthers, I had a love-hate with them as far as our picks against the spread that we did, because whenever I picked them, I felt like they lost. And whenever I picked against them, it seemed like I would always do better when I picked against them. So I started not liking them just because of that. But Kenny Pickett is a guy that I really wanted to be a really good quarterback, but he seems to be more of just a really good game manager. And, I just don't know if he has what it takes to kind of take them to the next level or to try to get them into the ACC championship game again. When they got into the ACC championship game, Clemson just destroyed him, which, it's kind of hard to say because it's kind of hard to hold that against them because Clemson did that to Virginia. But I've got down here who's going to be their running back. A.J. Davis had only 530 yards rushing, which is not really, going to scare anybody. The offensive line is going to stay. I believe they only lose one starter on the offensive line. The defense is going to be great. If you look at their schedule, I think that they're going to be 4-0 going into the Miami game, and I think Miami might be undefeated going into that game. And they really have a chance because their defense basically lost no one, and they're really stacked. I think they have a chance to kind of hold De'Ara King in check and maybe kind of jump as a front runner early on in the season. But then later on in the season, they're going to definitely have to battle Virginia Tech and UNC. I don't see them making it out of those two games. But I could definitely see them being second or third in the Coastal Division again.
Yeah, sure. Again, they're one of those cluster of teams at the top for me. They play Miami, Ohio, Marshall, Richmond, and Notre Dame out of conference. It's still weird to say Notre Dame out of conference, since they're in conference with basketball. But they have them at home, so that should be a pretty cool game. Home ACC games are Duke, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, and Syracuse. And their road ACC games are Miami, FSU, UNC, and Virginia. They do have a lot returning on defense, like you were talking about. That's going to be the strength of their team. As a matter of fact, it may be one of, if not the best defense in the ACC. They return Paris Ford, a safety, Jalen Twyman, a defensive tackle, and Patrick Jones, a defensive end. Those guys had great stats. Jalen Twyman had 12 tackles for loss and 10.5 sacks. Patrick Jones had 11.5 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks. So that's some star power there. They also have another defensive lineman, had 10.5 tackles for loss and 5.5 sacks in Deslin Alexandra. So, that's some big time sack numbers from your defensive line. Okay. So that's going to be somebody that nobody in the ACC is going to want to face.
Oh yeah.
And especially as they're, so as they're kind of, feeling their way through the season and trying to figure out, is Kenny Pickett ever going to be more than, again, just kind of a solid game manager? The defense is somebody they can lean on, hopefully, this season to kind of show up a little bit. Kenny Pickett is really kind of the debate I had with myself as to whether I could put this team on the top or not, whether I could say, hey, because I like their defense so much, can they take the top spot for the ACC Coastal? It all came down to Kenny Pickett, and you'll just have to wait and see at the end of the show whether I picked him or not.
Ooh, nice lead to the end there. Like I said, I think that they're definitely going to compete. Defense is going to keep them with everybody and may even help them beat teams like Notre Dame. Thanks for watching this video, and make sure to join our live show every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it.